Listening Mini-Test 1. Questions 1 through 3. Listen to part of a discussion between two friends.
Hey, Sammy. How's your job at the library working out? You're at the university library, aren't you?
Yeah, it's great. I've been working in the acquisitions department.
Oh, what do you do there?
Logging in new books, mostly. It's kind of neat because I get to open all the boxes that arrive. Boxes containing all the newly purchased books. It's kind of like a birthday, unwrapping presents.
That sounds like fun.
That part is, but then I have to enter each book into the computer. I don't mind that too much, but the worst thing is attaching the barcode on the cover. That can get kind of tedious, just doing the same thing over and over again.
1. What are the people discussing? Two. What is the woman referring to when she states, "That sounds like fun"? Three. Which duty does the man like the least? Questions 4 through 6. Listen to part of a lecture from a history class.
William Cody. Well, you probably know him as Buffalo Bill. Okay, so William Cody became an American showman and founded the Great Wild West Show. That was in 1883. He traveled around Europe with other famous people that you probably have also heard of, like people such as the sharpshooter Annie Oakley and the Indian chief Sitting Bull. This Wild West show traveled, as I said, around Europe and performed for many heads of state like the Queen of England. Queen Victoria, the show was featured at her Golden Jubilee celebrations, and the Tsar of Russia. That would have been the Tsar, Alexander III. His father, Alexander II, had been assassinated in 1881, so Alexander III would have seen Cody's show.
4. What is the talk mainly about? Five. What is the woman referring to when she states, "That was in 1883"? 6. In addition to Annie Oakley, which other famous person traveled with Buffalo Bill? Questions 7 through 9. Listen to part of a lecture from a music class.
Just before the turn of the 20th century, a new musical form captivated America, and that was ragtime. I suspect you've all heard of ragtime. The main feature of ragtime is its syncopation. Syncopation. You know how a waltz has a beat of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and a polka has 1, 2, 3, 4. These beats are regular, but in ragtime there's syncopation, a displaced beat or accent. Traditional strong beats become weak, and vice versa. Weak becomes strong. Or the beat isn't evenly spaced, but comes a little earlier than expected, or later. Although ragtime had its start in 1897 with William Krell's Mississippi Rag, and I'm going to be playing that for you in a moment, It was Scott Joplin who popularized the rag with his maple leaf rag. We'll hear that one as well. Now, it was John Philip Sousa, best known for marches actually, who began to feature rags in his band concerts in America and Europe. And by the early 1900s, ragtime was the most popular musical art form in America. Okay? Now let's listen to I'd like to play a few of these pieces I've been telling you about.
7. What does the speaker mainly discuss? Eight. According to the professor, what is ragtime? 9. What does the professor contrast in his lecture? 10 through 12. Listen to a conversation between two students.
Did you hear on the news last night that the City Museum had just recovered the missing painting by Rembrandt? They said, let me get this right. The curator said the painting had been returned after being out on unauthorized loan for 3 years.
Yeah, I heard that, but I just got in on the tail end of the story. The part I saw when I was watching it, I kept wondering, why that painting? What's so special, about that particular painting? I mean, there are so many more valuable items in the museum. Why was that one stolen?
Yeah, well, they explained that on the news. That same Rembrandt's been stolen 4 times in the last 20 years. Thieves seem to favor it, and the museum curator believes it may have something to do with its size. It's kind of small, 9 inches by 11.
That would make it easy to take. Just put it under your coat and walk out.
Don't get any ideas. Well, they do have surveillance cameras.
I'd say they need something more.
The museum has taken extra security precautions.
How valuable is it, anyway? Did they say?
Yeah, well, the curator said that it's been appraised at $5 million, but he didn't know what a thief could get for it.
That Rembrandt's very well known, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
So why would anyone want a stolen painting that's so easily recognized?
The news reporter asked that same question, and the curator wasn't sure. But he told a story about the Mona Lisa being stolen, and a man painted a bunch of copies and then sold all the fakes as the real stolen one.
10. What are the people discussing? 11. What does the woman mean by the phrase, being out on unauthorized loan for 3 years? 12. What reason is given for the painting's popularity among thieves?